Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naimah Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naimah Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution radio show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Pasen Wassaman. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Paleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Langade. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and in Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Grand Rising, and thank you all for joining us on this Thursday edition of the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. Today, we are joining the Chicago Auto Show as we shop with Zoe, and we'll get an opportunity to see some of the latest high-tech cars, and we want you to join us because we're going to also talk to some of those people who are helping to make this presentation possible. And we want you to call in 515-6. You can call in both 515-605-9325, and we're on the on-air radio network 727-731-5192. That's 727-731-5192. And we want to hear from you because driving an automobile is a lot more detailed than it used to be. You can do everything in your car now. And so we're going to give you an opportunity to see what the auto industry has to offer as it gives us some of the latest in new cars. And you'll be surprised at some of the technology. And as we shop with Zoe, we'll also discuss, has the new developments from China influenced the auto industry? You can do everything from operate your computer to watch television, charge your cell phone, and all other kinds of things as your car talks to you. Well, today, join us for Shop with Zoe, and we'll be right back
after this brief message. So we invite you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be right back, so stay with us.
Hi, I'm Naimah Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
And we are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. We'll be joining our hosts live at the Chicago Auto Show. And we want to give you just a glimpse of the Chicago Auto Show. One of the things that this show does every year is give people a chance to consider buying a new automobile, but also to learn some of the latest safety features. Every year, the industry introduces something that can help in the process of making driving a car safer. We know that cars are often the cause for some unpleasant accidents. And so there have been a lot of emphasis on safety features, especially because people are in their cars more often. And the fact that so many people are on the road means that we have to be aware of ways to keep people safe. One of those ways is the installation of cameras so that you can see who's on either side of you and in back of you without turning your head. Simply look at the camera screen on the dashboard. So these are some of the things that the auto industry is perfecting. But we invite you to come on down if you're in and around the Chicagoland area to the Chicago Auto Show, where there are presenters who are showing some of the new features and some of the new opportunities for other kinds of technology. There are smart cars that keep track of your habits and where you're going, the GPS systems, and all of the things that make car driving a whole new experience. So we invite you to be a part of this yearly presentation at the McCormick Place. The McCormick Place is 2300 South on King Drive. And this is a chance for you to perhaps get that new car. Now, we did cover the auto show last year, and we're going to bring you a little bit of some of the scenes from last year's auto show. So, of course, if you are a driver, you want to make sure that you find out about what's being offered. And if you've got a teenager who's going to be getting their license, things are a bit more advanced. There are a lot more things to do in a car, which can mean a lot more distractions. And so you need to be focused. But we're certainly encouraging people to explore. So on the On Air News Network, we have a bit from last year's auto show, and you can go to onaireverywhere.com. Every day we keep you informed, and of course, for our daily news, you get a chance to keep abreast of what's happening locally, nationally, and internationally, wherever you may be, because we give you a glimpse of what's happening that can enhance your life. Some of the news tips, of course, we know First Lady joined actress Halle Berry to promote health a few weeks ago when she arrived in Chicago to emphasize how important it is for us to understand the effects of menopause on our brain development and health. And U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris came to Chicago during the Rainbow Push Annual Convention to remind us of how much our dear leader, Reverend Jesse Jackson, has influenced national politics and world politics, so that we can be grateful, especially during this traditional Black History Month in America. We can appreciate how far we have come in this quest to make this nation live up to its promise that all are created equal. And of course, you can't change that reality. All are created equal. We just must treat them that way. And that's what we must learn as a human family. So, of course, if you are one that keeps up with the politics of the times, you know that the Democratic National Convention will be held in the Chicago area, and that is going to have an impact. So we invite you to follow us on air daily news as we provide coverage. And our team of hosts, as always, contributing to the upcoming On Air TV network. And you'll see our shows on the big screen of your TV. And these are some of our media affiliates that contribute to our news network. So we are always excited to bring you coverage of events, and many of our affiliates are out in the field every day, whether it's sports or politics or religion or economics. Our associates are out giving insight with views and interviews, and we even go overseas. We've been to Korea, we've been to Japan, we've been to England, and as you can see, we have been to the Chicago Auto Show to cover some of those exciting events. And we're excited today because as we shop with Joey, we get a chance to take a look at what is being created that will make our car buying experience a joyful one. So we're going to pause for just one moment and come right back after this message. And we're going to be joined with our host for today, Thursday, as we shop with Zoe. So we'll be right back after this quick break, And we invite you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in just one moment. So you stay with us.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naimah. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naimah. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms. Hi, I'm Naimah Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
And we are back. And you are listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. And today we're going to shop with Zoe as we join the Chicago Auto Show and get a look at some of the latest technology. So, welcome, Zoe. Thanks for joining us and being here to give us some inspiration. You know, as we take a look at some of the auto show new cars, we know that a lot of technology is probably influenced by some developments in China. And, you know, cars do a whole lot of things today that they didn't do when we first started driving. So what are some of the things that you observe in the new technology and coming out of China?
You know what? I think just I have not been back in China for 4 years, but I kind of keep up with the news about the car. Just many of the technology advances in China. The biggest one is the electric car industry. Just a couple days, I think a couple of days ago, Elon Musk actually admit that the Chinese electronic car industry probably going to take over, going to surpass Tesla, and going to take over the world. And then I saw a news flashback of same Elon Musk said maybe a couple of years ago, say there's no way Chinese EV industry going to actually be competitive to Tesla. And because he really underestimates the speed of technology development in China. Right now, I think the concept of Chinese cars are totally different than the traditional car industry. In the past, car is only used for transportation from location A to location B. But what I learned that the concept of Chinese car industry is different. It's the living experience while you are in the car. So the car is designed to make you feel comfortable when you are in motion. So you can do your work well because they feel like your car is almost either your mobile home or your mobile office. So they want you to have the experience, like almost even living in your mobile home or you're working in your mobile office. So, and with the EV cars industry, because China have I think its leader has a great vision. So about 10 years ago or even longer, they already see the green energy revolution that the battery industry will be replacing gasoline in the car industry. So they actually strategically developed the battery industry. So China actually is very dominant in the battery industry. So that gave China an edge in the EV cars because most of the battery used EV cars are made in China. They leave the Japanese and Korean battery industry like far behind.
Wow.
But you also think about it, the Japanese, Korean, and Chinese are all in Asia.
Ooh,
so
yes,
Asia is going to be dominating the car industry for the foreseeable future. The German cars are actually, in order for them to be competitive in EV car industry, they have to form alliance with Chinese EV cars makers to buy a stake in those Chinese EV car manufacturer to be able to sell in the EU. That's how they upgrade their industry. Otherwise, they are still in the yesterday's age. I don't know how many Chinese car makers going to be attending this Chicago Auto Show. Because I think there's a ban on Chinese cars, EV cars into the United States because I think what I heard, I just saw a Taiwanese YouTuber just bought his first car in China. I think the EV car probably says almost around $20,000.
Wow.
EV car. So, and then that price range. Hey, you're talking about why the inflation is so bad in America? Because they set the price high. Sometimes I feel, the price setting is a white supremacy because they feel like, for you to deliver a coffee in America or deliver a cup of coffee in China, the worker do not earn the same wages, but it's the same work. They just hand you a cup of coffee. Why the workers in other part of the world will make less than the workers in this, the white country making more? So I think that's, when you look at that, it's a form of white supremacy. We should be equal. Why we have to pay exorbitant price for a one-bedroom apartment in America?
Yes.
Why?
That makes no sense.
When you go to another country, that don't cost that much.
Right.
They set the price. It's a price setting. That's a monopoly. That's market. There's a way, if we can lower the cost of the living cost, if we actually have a true market economy across the world, everybody can afford many of the convenience of living rather than set the price high. I was just checking because I have a property in Wisconsin. I'm managing the property in Wisconsin. Right
Yeah.
now, the 4-bedroom is about average $2,000 in Wisconsin, Green Bay.
Yes, yes.
It just it will price people out. I just couldn't believe that how people in Green Bay will be afford $2,000 a 4-bedroom apartment. The wages is not very high there. I mean, just a couple years ago, the minimum wage is $9. Now I think it's 13 to 15. But still, how much you have to? How many minimum wage job you have to take to pay rent?
Yes, and when the wages are low and rent is high, you end up with a lot of homeless families, and that's what we're experiencing. Speaking of cars, you got a lot of people that actually have to live in their cars because they can't afford a place to stay. And we've heard from a lot of famous people who have had to live in their cars because they lost their apartment, and so they needed all of those things that a car offers, and heat. Sometimes they didn't have in their homes, and entertainment. But the thing about it is that, like you mentioned, the way things are priced, everything from having to constantly buy stickers and whether it's plate stickers, window stickers, all of these things. If you're having a difficult time financially, you might not be able to get the sticker when it's due, and then you get tickets on the car, which means you pay more because you don't have money. And then if you don't have your updated sticker and you get a number of tickets on your car, then they put a boot on your car, and then they can tow it away. And then you have to pay storage fees while it's in the towing garage. And if you can't pay them, then they can auction off your car. So it's really a very sophisticated form of stealing from the poor. That's exactly what it is. And even though I understand that cities need revenue, as we evolve into a higher consciousness of how to treat people, we're not going to have these systems of stealing from the poor and keeping people who already earn low wages from being able to enjoy something as simple as driving a car. It's a mean-spirited way to do things, and we need to see it for what it is so that we can change it. Because it's a wonderful thing, the creativity that comes into the auto industry and every industry. It's a wonderful thing that we're developing new ways of transportation. It's unfortunate that because of conflicts between governments and political squabbles, that we can't benefit from everyone's creative contributions. We should be able to benefit from what's coming out of China in terms of electric cars. We should be able to, because clean energy is better. Electric cars are better than gasoline cars, but we also know the international politics of what happens if oil and the countries that produce oil are no longer as needed in the economy because we have a different way of powering our cars. So that shifts a lot of power. We have to do things that make sense and are for the greater good, which means clean energy. Cars that are electric are better than gasoline powered cars. Battery operated, charging the car even with solar powered is better. And we talked to last year, this picture on the screen here, for those who are listening, we have a screen from last year's auto show where it says the Chicago Auto Show highlighted some of the most popular sports cars being selected by motorists. The Chevrolet Corvette Stingray was Motor Week's 2020 Driver's Choice winner for Best of the Year. And this was back in that time when we're looking at cars that could go fast and not burn as much gas. So everything is about how do you save money and keep people safe. And we know that one of the things we're looking at are the way in Asia with the high speed rails, transportation is so much faster. I was in as a matter of fact, I was in Japan and I saw the high-speed rails, which they're trying to bring here to America. And I think the system that it uses has to do with magnets, you know, and
I think in America, the high speed rail system may not be feasible because of the population density. I think it need a population density to support high speed rail, and I think only on the East Coast and West Coast. But I think because people here have they tend to travel with cars because
yes,
America is just big, land is plentiful. But I mean, when you're talking about the new car, affordable cars, all those expensive cars, who are buying them? Not the working poor who need who need a car every day to go to work. Those cars are not for people to go to work.
these
So
are
those cars are
luxury cars.
those
Yeah.
cars for the rich. Okay, it's so it's we are not talking about that. But I remember I watched a YouTube program from I think China in Africa, and there's a couple people was talking about the China. There are people in Africa are bring Chinese made parts from China to Africa, and they assemble those cars in Africa. I think Kenya or somewhere, and then it's average of $5,000 for a car. And then I think it's also is an electric car with a solar panel on the roof. So they
Mhm.
charge the car as they drive, and it's a $5,000 car. And I think we can have that in America. That that travel very fast. With the traffic, you can't really go very fast.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like you mentioned, the dense population, the traffic is always tied up. But then the frustration of that is you have people that are under so much stress to get to work on time because if they're late, they might get fired. So then they start attacking each other on the streets in the traffic because of the stress of not being able to get to work because there's so many cars. So if somebody cuts in front of you in traffic, and if that person is under so much stress about being late for work, they could become violent. That's what they call road rage. So look at how one thing leads to another. People are stressed because they might not get to work on time because the traffic is so heavy, so they start being violent at each other. And it would make sense if we had a high speed rail system so that people could actually get to where they're going. But then, like you say, you have to have people who are using that system because it has to pay for itself. Certainly it's something that would be very expensive to create, to install, to manufacture here. But we have to figure out how to do something about the rush hour traffic, which that it's funny they call it rush hour because you can't rush because there's too many cars on the road. I know
Yeah.
that in Nigeria, someone mentioned to me, so a friend of mine from Lagos said they in the mornings and the evenings it's like traffic is at a standstill because so many people have cars. There just isn't enough space for people to move. So you're stuck there. And then you think, okay, why do people do this every morning? You know it's going to be overcrowded. Why would people not choose public transportation? But everybody wants a car. So this is why the Chicago Auto Show is so popular. Everybody wants to have their own car. There was a time, they were promoting ride sharing and carpooling for people to share their cars. You pick up your coworker on the way to work, and I tried to do that. I was working at the time, and in Northbrook, and I was coming from the South Side, so I was picking up a couple of people, and that can work. But then if somebody's late, or you can't take turns because that other person doesn't have a car, doesn't drive that well. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But that was one of the ways that they suggested that people save money on gas, uh, reduce the number of cars on the street, and basically help traffic flow smoother. And people did that for a while, but that's not as popular now. Now, of course, what we have is like Uber and Lyft, and the private car service, driving services, and that supposedly is to help people who don't have cars. But there's always something. And ideally, if we made cars affordable and we had a good, efficient public transportation system, cities would run more smoothly. But the roads are always under construction in Chicago because we have so many big heavy vehicles. They knock potholes in the cement, and if you don't have good tires, and I've had to replace the tires on my car several times from pothole accidents.
I think just
Costly.
I have lived in Chicago for 30 years, and I left China in 30 years ago. When I left China, Beijing, there was only 2 lines, like metro lines in Beijing. I think right now, 30 years later, I think China probably have Beijing has about 20 lines or more, I think. Okay. And look at Chicago. 20 years ago, we have how many lines? We have green, blue, orange, pink, right?
Yes.
30 years ago. And how many would we have now?
Yeah.
4.
Yes.
Okay. So I think that's
was it we'll see, it's red, blue,
5.
pink, and green.
Pink, orange,
Orange.
yeah, well, yellow is still.
We have a yellow.
Yeah, we have that's like from Chicago, from Howard to Skokie.
Oh yeah, that's like.
But the thing is, there's no new lines.
Yes.
In the 30 years.
Yes,
and
those
new track. And then in China, they got already from they grow 10-fold.
Yes.
And then we ask ourselves, what are we politicians doing?
Right.
They spend all the energy of just bickering with each other. They never try to improve the infrastructure of Chicago.
Yes.
When China in the past 30 years, they built so many lines just for the city of Beijing. And then you go every city. They in China, they have lines from 0 to maybe 10, 20. Okay? 30 within 30 years. And I live in Chicago for 30 years. I don't see any change.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago is our town, okay? And when we vote every 4 years. And China do not vote for their mayor. We vote for our mayor. And what do we get from voting for our mayor?
Right.
Voting for our alderman. What do we get? Nothing.
We get nothing.
Nothing. And then we still see the lands being taken in the south side. Like I'm actually interview people living in Wisconsin, relocate from Chicago, south side and west side.
Yes.
And I just feel like don't leave. Don't leave.
Well, people are trying to find where they can live comfortably, safely, at an affordable cost. Now, one thing I looked at Wisconsin is so much space there. Ideally,
you were there just last week, right?
Yes. And I'm looking forward to us taking a group of young people there this summer so they can experience, number one, what it's like to work land. We've got a farming program, and we're looking forward to getting our young people to understand the power of having land. There's so much you can do with land, everything from farming to creating solar farms, which is generating electricity, clean energy, which the government is encouraging people to do, and for them to see the capabilities based on what's available so that they can have a vision of what they want to do with their lives. And, I'm excited just to get young people out of the city where the view of things is so limited to an open space where they can see the possibilities that are right in their hands, and they can experience making things happen. So I think, and they're excited. They're looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, I think for our youngsters, we should, they should have the opportunity to see something different from what they've been seeing day in, day out from their neighborhood, their walk to school, to neighborhood school. And yesterday I was in the South Side, and I can really see the neighborhoods setting are different. You see, I see the two ladies are picking up the trash, on the street. But I think just you feel the neighborhood has been not being cared for. And then everybody traveled to China. They marveled at how clean every city is in China.
Yes, that's what I noticed.
Because the city hired an army of retired people.
Yes.
To clean the street. Every spot is adopted.
Yes. And I saw people cleaning the streets.
They have, those people, they don't make a lot of money, but most of the Chinese, they own their home, so they don't need first of all, they just need to buy money to buy food, and food is really inexpensive in China because the countries make sure living is affordable. But what I'm just saying is, on one hand, we give a handout to people, don't do anything. Then we have street not being cleaned. And then when you're driving through, just for me, okay, driving through that neighborhood yesterday, doesn't feel very encouraging and put my mental health on a higher gear. Because you probably don't realize that. Because you are there all the time, you don't realize, okay, those environments, the trash on the ground, the abandoned home, the vacant lot, actually every little things are not encourage your mental health. Yes. Actually, it adversely affect your mental health.
Absolutely. We've got a call on the line. We need to take a quick break and come right back, and then we're going to take that call. So hang on, 314-677, coming to you right after this quick break. And if you're listening online and want to join this conversation, you can call us at 515-605-9325. And you can also call us on the on-air radio network, 727-731-5192. We've got some comments we're going to share with you right after this quick break. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment. So stay with us.
Hi, this is John Alexander.
And I'm Naimah Latif. Meet people like you who are making a positive difference in the world.
Big difference.
Watch us every day on The Media Connection at www.youtube.com/The Media Connection TV.
YouTube it. We'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naimah. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naimah. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
And we are back, and let's bring on our caller. And 314-677. Introduce yourself to our listening and viewing audience and give us your comments.
We don't need no commuter trains.
We don't need a commuter train, you say? So what do you think? So why do you think not?
Want to try that, they can go ahead and try it. I don't think we need to be importing automobiles from China. Two reasons. One, China is an adversary, and we should be concentrating on made in America, like it always has been.
Okay, so
automobiles have been a traditional value in the United States from the early part. It was one of the reasons why the interstate highway system was implemented back in the 50s from the advent of Arthur Sloan, who was president of GM, and Firestone and Standard Oil, and President Eisenhower.
Mm-hmm.
And electric cars is not more efficient than gasoline cars. The cost to produce the batteries and so forth outweigh that which is perfected that we have already. And oil is a natural product that's produced by the earth, not by fossils. And we have an abundance of it. We should use it. If you stop using it, it's going to come up and have problems anyway. So the government has no business encouraging or promoting one industry over another. That should be left up to consumers on what they want to consume.
So what makes you say that China is an adversary? Are you at odds with any Chinese? Are the Chinese adversaries, or is this a squabble between industry leaders and politicians? Are the people adverse to working together? If the Chinese have technology that would be helpful for the general public, wouldn't it make sense for everybody to share in that information and the opportunities that they supply? And shouldn't we be then, perhaps, like we're talking about doing, sending students over to China to learn some things so that we could bring that technology back to America? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, they do have student exchanges, and they also have spy networks where you have your technology is being stolen by those who work in universities and so forth and so on. In the state of Louisiana, they passed a law that American adversaries cannot buy states cannot buy land in well, they should buy land in the state. You can't buy land in their state. So are we supposed to do things that's promoting the United States as we have it? And we'll get back to it. Do an inventory in your house and see how much of the products and things you have is made in Russia. 99% of them is made where?
Well, I would say, we have a lot of things made in China.
99% made in China. Look.
Can I chip in, gentlemen? Can I chip in? Okay. Yes. Who actually brought those manufacturers to China? It's Walmart. Okay. Who actually passed the law, encouraged Walmart to go to China, to outsource in China? When it first came to United States, Walmart was not a big thing. But 10 years after, in the 2000s, Walmart is huge. You know why? Because the manufacturers in America want to lower the cost, want to lower the manufacturer labor cost. The way to reduce the manufacturer cost and earn higher profit is try to find a place where they have lower wages and the manufacturers are low. And the whole globalization is not to protect American citizens, it's to protect American corporations. And what you see today, where every items, almost 99% of items in your household that you bought from Walmart, it's because of American law.
Walmart, that's China, pretty much, right?
Yeah, so you should go to our politicians and our corporation and ask them why they allow globalization. What the benefit of globalization to American population? Nothing. It's for the corporation, so their stock markets keep going up, and the wages stay low or going down in the relative terms. So you can't blame China. You should blame Walmart and the like. And the politicians encourage to give welfare protection to the corporations right now. And the same thing. So you can't blame China stealing the technology. Is Walmart willingly go to China?
Made in America. Now, I'm not against products made in China being imported into the United States, but they should be taxed, whereas they're of equal value.
Well, tax. Who is paying the tax? Trump
we're supposed to protect our own markets. How do we protect our own markets? Well, goods that's coming into the country from abroad will be taxed, a tariff that puts them at the equal value of goods that we're making in the United States. That way, that the citizens of the United States will have a choice to make.
Well, I think right now we are facing inflation. Okay, who is paying? It's the consumer. The consumer is paying the price of high tax. The government is benefiting collecting tax, not the consumer. Why the globalization not only take the jobs away from American workers, and now it's also robbing the American consumers of their hard-earned dollars for the same kind of a product. They have to pay more for the product. You know how much the manufacturer cost of a product sold in America? It is 10%.
Her phone is in bad shape. You can hear only every 1 out of 6 words that she's saying.
Zoe, are you able to hear us clearly?
Yes, I can hear clearly.
Sound problem. Yeah, you might need to make sure you turn the volume up on your phone.
The volume is fine. It's just the connection is breaking up every other word. But no, the answer to a question he's talking about. So I would rather pay more in order to hire Americans than pay less to hire foreigners. You got your kids that go to school, and they are expecting to be able to earn a living when they get out of school.
Are you talking about people from the south side of Chicago?
I'm a business manufacturer going abroad myself, and I think that anything that they try to bring back into the country, it should be taxed at a higher rate, a tariff.
You know what? You should talk to Walmart about that. You should tell to just ask a politician to ban Walmart to buy products from China. Okay? And then that will work. Because Walmart and the like.
When I'm
buying from China, that's where they get their products.
No, that's not true. Because I look for American-made products, and I order American-made products from Walmart. I took on a hobby called making pizza, and I made sure that all my cast iron was made from a company that's in Arkansas, where it's made there. And other products, I make sure that they're made in the United States.
Good for you. Good for you. You should make, but you know what? There's a lot of people who can't afford even Walmart products. So it's not just for you. You are only one out of 300 million people. You know, there's a lot of people still homeless. They can't afford anything. So I think the first thing is ask the politician to stop. exploit overseas labor and give good wages to the people here, give them a home to live. Okay, so that's the biggest thing. So don't battle with where the product's made. Is people need that and at affordable price. Good for you that you can pay higher price for American made one. Good, like you can buy Tesla, but not everybody can buy Tesla. And those people cannot afford Tesla. They have to buy something that affordable to them. It's not right to rob their hard-earned dollars to subsidize high price product. The American government, our politicians shouldn't subsidize corporations. They should subsidize people.
American citizen? Is she American citizen?
Yes, I am. So you should feel shame of yourself. Question me. I'm an American citizen. Yes, you are racist.
She's from China, but she's an American citizen. She's been an American citizen for a long time. She travels back and forth to China and other countries.
You should feel shame of yourself, even question anybody who is a citizen or not.
She's in the United States from China, has acquired a
so
U.S.
what? Your parents from Europe.
What's wrong with
this? Who you think you are American? American belong to Indians. American Indians.
Trade agreements to establish diplomacy and to establish relations so that there would not be hostility.
I'll tell you why. He went to China to establish fair trade, not free trade.
So if trade is not fair, whose fault is it that American schools took all the trades out of their public school education system? Whose fault is that if American schools do not provide the kind of student exchange programs where they could go abroad and learn what other countries have introduced in terms of new technology? Whose fault is it if American schools have devalued things like agricultural development?
I can answer that. I can answer that, and you can support it. The federal government has no say-so in your schools unless you let them. The direction that your schools take is based up on the local community, i.e. the parents and stakeholders. That's your child.
Absolutely.
You're supposed to put in place the thing. You're supposed to put in place as a parent, as a family, the things necessary for your child to be successful in this economy, in this country.
You're right. I agree. You're right.
Who started a relationship with China? It's Nixon. President Nixon is a Republican. Okay, you voted a Republican president to open trade with China, and you think he didn't do a good job because the trade agreement was not fair? That's your problem, because you didn't elect a good one. And over the last 40 years, you have never elected a good president to actually know how to protect American population rather than American corporation. This is the globalization is by design. It's rob the jobs of American workers to benefit American corporation. That's the president you voted over years.
Well,
that's your president. That's the senators and the House representatives. You voted. So you can't blame China because China did not establish military base around the United States to force America to take the deal.
That's detrimental to their well-being.
Well,
this is your president, your Congress people you voted. So we have to blame ourselves. We blame American president and Congress.
Now
and do damage to America.
Those like myself who seek to buy and support America, that's what we're going to do.
Well, I think
makes sense to be supporting somebody on the other side of the world. What sense does that make?
Okay, so if you buy a car and the carburetor falls out while you're driving and you have an accident, does it really matter who made the car? You want the car to be of good quality, no matter who makes it, because your life is on the line. And if the person overseas makes a car that keeps you safe and the one domestically made doesn't because the workers were not trained properly or supervised properly, your life is on the line. So it doesn't matter who made it.
Anytime a car made from another country comes into United
States, let's put a car aside. Okay.
Everything from the headlights to the height of the bumper.
You let's talk about the incidents of Boeing, the airplane in the past few days. Okay, Boeing is American brand, airplane, right? Why the Boeing plane has been grounded for security reasons, for safety reasons, because Boeing cannot make quality product anymore. You have to blame Boeing, okay? So you can't smear other country for the problem. It's in the United States because Boeing cannot produce quality product as they used to. Why? Because it's all about the money on the Wall Street. They don't care the product is good quality or not. It's about the bottom line. If they can bring the money to their,
that's not true.
They are shareholders. And the same thing with Walmart.
I being a pilot know that American skies are some of the safest in the world.
Well, then go check the records of Boeing right now. You can't just if you don't know the.
Boeing does a lot of community service. Boeing hires a lot of black engineers. I'm for Boeing to be made in China.
Well, I think that we've seen some crashes, and whether it's the pilot and their level of training or the plane and its level of safety, people want a product that is responsible for their life, to be well made and well managed, and they want people who are reliable. Because if I get on a plane, not only do I want it not to fall apart in the air, I want the pilot to be well trained, and I want them to be well rested, and I want to get where I'm going safely. And I don't really care where they come from or what gender they are or any other thing that's irrelevant. I want to know, can you keep me alive? Do you have the skills to keep me alive? And do the people who made this plane have the skills to make sure it's safe? That's all that matters. I don't care where they're from.
Let me answer that question for you. And if that's the case, you should be against diversity hiring and equity hiring.
I want quality. Okay. That's a good point you made. Now, did you see that? Did you see the movie? What was that movie? What was that movie about the black pilots? It was about the Tuskegee Airmen.
Naimah, I being a pilot know that the American system is the safest in the world.
Okay. Okay.
And you haven't had crashes?
When you start bringing in these, they're very rare. When you start
very often in the past few years now.
Hiring should be based on merit, not based on skin color and
that's true.
That we see going on.
That's today. True. And when you saw the movie, the Tuskegee Airmen, the reality of the Tuskegee Airmen is that when those pilots were and they finally decided it don't matter what your skin color is, because these black pilots are keeping us safe and keeping us alive, and now all that prejudice went out the window because their lives on the line. And so it doesn't matter who you are if you're keeping me alive.
I think Mr. Piansky, you should live in the today's world, not the past. Today's world, the plane is not safe anymore because the world has changed. The American government has decided they're going to focus their policy is to re-enrich corporations and Wall Street at expense of the quality product in the United States, which endanger our safety. Okay. And then first of all, you are not entitled to think all Americans are white Europeans. Okay. And Europeans are white settlers 400 years old on Indian land. Please beware of that. You are not entitled to spear your white supremacy on this channel.
See, you've caught on with this same old age-old excuse blaming white supremacy. How can you say that all Americans are white?
No, she didn't say all Americans are white. She said all Americans are not white.
Listen to what you said. Listen to what you said. All Americans are not white. All Americans are not European.
That's true. So knowing that, then, when we talk about American-made products, we're talking about everybody have an opportunity to make those products. So if we've got a system here that still discriminates from people, discriminates in hiring, training, preparing, then that is a system that doesn't ensure that we're getting the best quality. Because if the focus is not on making sure that every child is highly educated and skilled, then you're not going to have the best pool of workers, because you're not allowing people to be their best. As long as there's a discriminatory system, you're never going to excel above another country that doesn't have a discriminatory system.
Let me ask you a question. Who's keeping your kids from not being the best trained and skilled?
You just said it. You just said it. You just said it. The people are not demanding it. You just said it.
I can't engage in this conversation if you don't allow me to talk.
Oh, you've been talking.
When I come to your show, I think it's kind of hostile anyway.
No.
Please say what I want to say.
Because when you ask my nationality, my citizenship, you are being a discriminating, racist. Because you do not have a right to ask my citizenship.
From implementing what's needed for your children to learn. You got your Barbara Sizemore School there in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You got your Betty Shabbat School there in Chicago.
That's true.
You got Northeastern University. What's stopping you from putting the things that's needed for your children to learn? Nothing.
So that being the case, I totally agree. So that being the case, if nothing is stopping us from making sure our children learn, and nothing is stopping other people from making their children learn, and yet other people's children are excelling because other governments are providing more opportunities to the population, and therefore other countries are producing better products, and people here choose to patronize those products because they're better, it's nobody's fault. It's a decision. So if we want to create better products, then we have to treat our children better. We have to create better school systems. We have to make them equal so that all children's skills and talents can benefit the greater society. You're right. It's our choice. If we're not choosing to educate our children and provide the training and technological advancement that they have the intelligence to master, then we can't blame anybody but ourselves. We can't blame China. We can't blame Japan. We can't blame Korea. We can't blame anybody who is educating their children. I have family members who have been educators in China and South Korea, and they have observed that the school system there is very dedicated in ensuring that their children learn. We, on the other hand, are so steeped in trying to keep our children just basically from killing each other. And it's our fault. We created this environment of hostility. So therefore, we have children afraid to go to school, afraid of being shot, whereas in other countries, children can go and focus on learning and not trying to have shooter drills where they got to duck under desks. It's our fault. There's nobody creating that situation but us. So we can't blame China if they come up with a better product because their children aren't living in fear.
And let me respond to that. See, that ain't all American. That's certain American.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
I made sure that mine got the education that they need.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that was stopping me from making sure that they got the education that they need so that they can command high wages, high salary jobs. There's nothing stopping people. It's nothing stopping you to make sure that Barbara Sizemore is the best school in Chicago. You choose not to do it, or don't put the effort into it to make it happen. How is it that Nigerians have the highest educational take? How is it that Nigerian Americans, not only those that come to the country, but first, second, and third generation, they just as black as Wesley Snipes?
So that being the case, then what is it that American schools are not doing so that they are not able to compete or at least produce to the level? Because I like the idea of competition. I think the world of tomorrow that we're evolving into is not about competition but cooperation. So if someone has a better product, then they have a chance to share the knowledge. So if people have the knowledge, we have the responsibility to go and seek it out. And if we're failing to do that, that's our responsibility. That's our lack. That's our fault. We can't blame other people for excelling when we had the same opportunity to excel and we didn't take that opportunity because we didn't want to educate all of the children who have talents and skills and creative abilities. Nobody's responsible for that.
Because you have choice in the United States. Let me ask you a question. School choice with the vouchers, full vouchers where the money follows the child. Your major organization, whether it's the teachers union or whether it's the NAACP, are totally against that. And you know they are. They are against that. Why? Well, apparently they are not concerned about the overall performance of the children, especially black kids that go to those schools. They are against full vouchers, school choice, where a parent can put their child, no matter if it's a poor background, where they think it's best for the overall long-term goals of the child.
Well, that I disagree with the voucher system because who you gave the voucher to, and children have the equal right to quality education. Doesn't matter if they have a voucher or not. So the voucher system is segregate some student from another. That's not right. We don't need a voucher system. We need a quality education across the board. Doesn't matter where the kids live.
Elementary education in the urban areas in most cities is free. It's free education. Now, you need a voucher system because some students come from marginal families, but those marginal families make sure that their child is prepared for the grade that they're entering. But if you got a dozen children that's sitting in a classroom where the parents from the other side don't give that much concern, well, why would you keep those children that are prepared in an environment that's not conducive for them learning? You have to take them out.
Then why you need a voucher? Why you need a voucher? Voucher is money. That means that you are creating a class of students over another. That's not equal right. Voucher system is not equal rights, and education is a universal human right to all kids. God created all kids equal. Doesn't matter their color or the money the parents make. All kids have a right to equal right to good education. The voucher sits another way of this is divide and conquer. You're dividing and conquer.
Well,
you don't tell me certain parents you support those kids who are from marginal families. You give extra support, but not so some students have more right than the other students because the voucher.
She's trying to tell me what's best, where her communication is terrible with her phone.
Well, at least you speak another language than English. At least I speak more than one language. Who is more educated than you now?
And Bianca, she's probably talking on a phone that was made in America. So that's what the problem is. We got to take
right.
a break.
I have an Apple phone, a shitty Apple phone.
It's not my fault that it's not my fault that she got a bad connection to it.
Well,
I'm using a shitty Apple phone. I'm using a shitty Comcast wireless service. So I'm sorry.
There you go. Well, we got a couple of comments. Well, hold on 1 second, Bianca. We got a couple of comments I want to share from our viewers, and yeah, we got quite a few comments here. And thank you, Brian Vickers, for joining us as we discuss the merits of the American school system in providing for our children. And let's see, let me I see it better without the glasses. Okay, so we of course talked about the high-speed rail system. And good morning, Brian, thank you for joining us. And he said road rage is something else, and we have that happening because we got too many cars on the road and people afraid. And then Brian says that, you know, it's a good idea for us to actually create a better public transportation system. And he says public transportation here in America is not always reliable. I mean, you have people who will see some struggling old lady coming down the street trying to catch a train or a bus and pull on off because they don't care about people. And Brian says people don't want to carpool or double date anymore. You know, you can't trust people again. So now we got that problem. And he says potholes are horrible in Chicago. Again, you know, reason why they tear up your cars. All of this is American situations. And Brian says, how many cities in America have the problem of infrastructure and homelessness that Chicago has? And I'm sure they got those same problems in St. Louis, Bianca, because, you know, Americans don't put money into repairing things because they'd have to pay workers. So there you go. And Brian says Chicago seems to lose more residents every year. Yes, it does, because of all the conditions that we talked about. And he says, what other cities have the open space? Well, we know, of course, Wisconsin's got some great spaces, and that and we want to see what the possibilities are. Brian also says, what do you think of Trump running for president again? I don't know, Bianca. I don't know if you're a Trump supporter. You may be. And he said, you know, and Brian says, I wish America had a strong economy like China. What do you think about that?
America doesn't have a strong economy.
Okay.
It's the economy off the back of America. China millionaires became millionaires because they were producing products that were coming into the United States based on artificial evaluation of their currency, and also because your politics don't protect American industries like any other country does. Try to ship a car into Ghana, West Africa, see the tariffs and the VAT tax that is imposed upon it. They do things to protect local markets. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to protect your local markets.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you, one of the things that we have seen is that even though Americans are claiming to have this, or the American politicians are claiming to have this conflict with China, when it comes to business, those who are trying to improve their corporate interests, they are doing business in China. One of our very good friends who is a successful businessman who we supported politically, Dr. Willie Wilson, he has his products manufactured in China. So he's also a great philanthropist. He gives away a lot of money. So if people are looking at opportunities to do business and even benefit their communities because they're able to do business in China, because China's manufacturing costs less, then are we saying that they're wrong because they're getting their products manufactured in China and benefiting America with their profits?
Let me address that, what you just said.
Well, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break.
About Willie Wilson.
Yes. Well, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break and then we're coming back. hold on a second. We got to take a break, and we got to bring in one of our other hosts and get their comments. So we'll be right back. So just hold on, stick and stay, don't stray away, and we'll take some more comments also from our Facebook viewers and listeners, and we'll be right back. So just stay with us.
Hi, I'm Naimah Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money. And we are back.
Can't hear you. Okay. So are we on? I can't hear you.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naimah. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naimah. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
Hello. Are we back? I think, we are talking about why America can't have a vibrant economy like China now. I think is the politicians spend too much time talking about the ideology rather than the economic well-being of citizens. That's the issue. And I'm talking about, protect American market. The major corporation has its 25% of profits from selling their products in China. That's why they cannot cut them off from working with China because that's their profit coming from 25% on average. So when you're talking about the protect the American market, you are going to other countries' market too. How can you say I protect our American market when you are going to other countries and then take over their market share? So I think let's not just double standard here. But I do feel our kids should go, out their neighborhood to see a wider world. Either just Wisconsin to see what Wisconsin look like, or another country. Yesterday, I was at the kids podcast training show. I was promising them to take them to Wisconsin. I will take them to Egypt. I will take them to China to see all, compare the America, Egypt, China, see all the opportunity there and how other people's living and inspire us. Every people have their own strengths. So let's learn from one another rather than fight with one another. There's no point to monopolize your domain, say this is mine. God created the universe for all of us. There's no thing called mine and mine only. That kind of mentality is not good for the humankind. And then that's why we are seeing what in Israel fighting with Palestine now, because they feel like, oh, this piece of land is mine and it's mine only. The Palestinian cannot live in the portion that Israel occupied and controlled. I think that kind of mentality is against God's will. God create the universe for everybody, all mankind. So we have to learn to share. We have to learn to support each other, learn from one another, and then enjoy this world that God created for us. So I don't know that gentleman's view about, buy America. The world has been buy America for the longest time, since World War II. But now every country can produce things. We can do exchange, we trade, and for everyone to be better. Of course, I feel I truly understand, eventually understand the true meaning of globalization, spearheaded by the American government in the 90s, late 80s, is to shift the job to overseas to improve the bottom line for the corporations, and then at the same time to destroy the union, who actually make sure in the union is meant to protect the bottom line for the average workers to have a living wage. But right now, a lot of places, I know Wisconsin for a long time have a fight. The governor have fight with the union, but the union's there to keep a bottom line for the average members. But not if because a lot of workers do not have representation in the government. Any of the congressperson coming from a working poor background, I think almost all of them are millionaires. As soon as they get to the Congress, even maybe they were waitress or bartenders before they were elected to Congress, but few years later they are millionaires. So they do not represent the working poor in this country. We need to understand, and we have to know who we want to select to be our leaders. Those are actually represent our interest, not the interest of the corporations or Israeli lobbies. So I'm just very proud that the city of Chicago is the biggest American cities, has a city resolution for calling for ceasefire, because the life is a life. God created all life equal. You know, Palestinian life matters as much as black lives, as much as all white lives or the Israeli lives. Only less than 1,200 Israelis killed, but right now we have almost 30,000 Palestinians are killed. So what's the justice? Is that justified just because of to kill 30,000 Palestinians because 1,200 or less Israeli were killed? And then even Israeli was giving a piece of land in Palestine to create their state. Why they are not allowed the Palestinians stay on that land? Why they had this Nakba to kick out 700,000 Palestinians from their homes? Why the Jacob from New York is entitled to take over a Palestinian home to say if he doesn't steal their home, some other American Jews will take over their home? What kind of ideology is that? Is that what God tell those people to do? Are they really a believer of God? I thought God said that you should not kill, you should not steal. That's two basic standard of being a human being. Okay, so I think, well, I don't know where's Naimah and Zelda, but I just other day I just forward a YouTuber program about the little Africa in China. I don't know. Hopefully, Naimah can actually. Africa in China. Hopefully, Naimah can put a link over there. That there's a YouTuber from Ghana. I think he lived in China for a couple years and speak pretty good Chinese. And he went to a South China city called Guangzhou and visited a place where he did not feel out of place because a lot of people around the area look like him. I think the name of the let me see the name of that. Okay, yeah, the name of the YouTuber called, the title is "I didn't feel black in this Chinese city. This is why China's Little Africa." So if you get a chance, maybe look it up YouTube and then watch this program, the YouTube presentation of Little Africa in China.
You know, yeah, that little video. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get to McCormick place because I can't meet. Yeah. Well, we'll get there in the morning because I definitely ain't going. Okay.
Zelda?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so are we on the show together now?
No, you are. I'm just running the switchboard back here until Naimah can get back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, I am not camera ready. I promise you.
Okay. You know, so I right now, I'm just maybe just tell a few things about the summer camp program we were going to put together for kids from the south side or west side can enjoy a week-long camp trip in Wisconsin. Yesterday, I went to the podcast training in one of the charter school in the south side. And so I don't know if you see the video about the training. It was very awesome. The kids was asking questions and they were so excited, and also taught them a few words in Chinese, in how to introduce them in Chinese. Their math teacher, Baba Jerry, actually taught in China for 3 years before he returned to teach in their school as a math teacher, and he speak very good Chinese. And then I was one of the girl. I already know a few words in Chinese before I was there, so I was kind of very excited to be with them for the show. And we talk about the summer camp program that we're gonna bring about 20 kids to see the part of Wisconsin that probably they have never experienced the rural part. So we will be able to visit the farm museum along the way. We'll visit amusement park near Green Bay. Then we can go to our land north of Green Bay. We want to do some gardening, learn to do gardening, to learn about how to eat healthy. Learn to grow some vegetable there. We raise chickens and have our own eggs. So kids can learn some farming over there, and also we have a go-kart nearby, so kids can go for a go-kart ride. We also have river nearby, so kids can go fishing, kayaking, tubing. So enjoy like summer fun. That it's a nice break for the kids to just take a break out of the city and be safe, be free. We can shoot up some fireworks and gaze at the stars that are almost so close that you feel like the stars are about to drop on your head. But yeah, just take the kids to enjoy nature. And that's one of the proposal we are going to do. Another one is we're going to take the kids to visit some African entrepreneurs that doing business in China. How those Africans are making a successful career doing trade between China and then Africa. I think between 100 to 200,000 Africans living in China. About 100,000 of them are living in the city of Guangzhou. Those Africans actually probably were former students from Africa study in China on the Chinese scholarships. I remember when I was in college in China in between 1987 to 91. The university next door to my university has such a program that hosting African students to study in China on Chinese scholarships. Some of those students actually decide to stay in China rather than returning to their home country in Africa. When they graduate, they take advantage of their language advantage because they speak very fluent Chinese, and they facilitate the trade between China and Africa. I think the interview this Ghana YouTuber done with one of the lady, also I think from Ghana, and she was just returning to China from absence during COVID. And then she's get back to do trade with China. So I think she's basically importing baby. I think maybe baby and mother like products that make popular in Africa. So I think if we make this trip to visit the African entrepreneurs in China, that will open the eyes of many African American kids in the city of Chicago. With this trip, they will learn, and I'm sure they will be inspired. because I heard a lot about this African village in China. I have not been there. I've been to Guangzhou twice. The first time in 1988, but at that time China just about opened up, so there was not a lot of opportunity to do trade, international trade between China and Africa. I think that the African village was established after, I think maybe late 90s, and of course thrived in the last 20 years. So I'm excited to go to visit that village with the student from Chicago. For me, I'm actually looking forward to spend some time in Egypt, because I want to also learn another language and learn another culture and older Asian civilization. I went to Turkey during last Thanksgiving, and I visited the Grand Bazaar, the old marketplace, and I see people from all over the world visit Turkey, Istanbul, and they are doing trade between Turkey and then our other countries, Russians, Africans, Europeans. It's amazing. And I think, Chicago can copy the model from Turkey.
Yes. Well, I apologize. My systems went down, so I had to switch to another device. But one of the things that we want to do is perhaps share with our viewers and listeners the video, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to pull it up on screen. But there is a little Africa in China. I'm going to open a microphone to some of our callers that want to speak. Bianchi, I know you had a response to what was said regarding Africans in China and the fact that they do have a thriving community there, just like we've got a Chinatown here in Chicago and probably other cities. So nobody's really stopping the business community from interacting. And I don't think there's a hostility with that little Africa that's in China. So what are your thoughts on that? Were you aware that that existed?
My wife is from Ghana.
She's from Ghana. Okay.
Spent a lot of time there.
You spent a lot of time in
African countries should develop their own economy. They should develop their own products that they use, services that they use, and only turn to the outside sources if they desire to. Same thing with the United States. You made mention about Willie Wilson doing business in China, and he come back and gives to the community. Well,
yes.
The purpose is that the community should produce for itself. Expect someone else outside to give to you. You give to yourself. Isn't the old parable about Jesus making fishermen of men rather than begging or waiting for somebody else to give you fish?
Yeah, but he also fed multitudes. He gave them food. So you can do both. You can empower people to do for themselves, and you can give them a hand up to give them a start. I mean, isn't that what investors do when they invest in a business? They provide the seed money so that you can get the equipment, you can get the staff. So that's not charity. That's cooperation.
Well, I think China was poorer than most of the African countries in the as late as 1980s. Okay, so most in the Ghana was wealthier, richer than China in 1980s. So why Ghana is lag so far behind than China now? What's the reason? I think then not only the people in Ghana should ask themselves, all the Western countries should also ask themselves too, why Ghana was once richer than China and now it's not. They could have just developed themselves by themselves without China.
Yes. Well, we've got a couple of callers on the line, and I'm gonna take you in this order. We have 773-483, and we have 312-632, and we have 312-882. So we're gonna take a couple of callers. We'll keep you keep your mic open, Bianca. I know you've got some responses, and also want to share a few more remarks from our YouTube and Facebook listeners. And I mean, this is always an issue that creates a lot of emotion, because people tend to blame other countries that are excelling as if they're taking something away from Americans, and that's not true. Nobody's stopping anybody from going abroad to invest, to create, to develop business. And like Zoe just said, there's a little Africa right there in China, and Africans are doing well in business. So if that's the case, then why are we angry and why are we upset that Americans, school children aren't excelling as well? Why are we blaming other people?
Your little Africa in China makes it possible for Africans to buy Chinese goods and bring them back into Africa and introduce them to their society, creating rich individuals, whereas Africa should be producing their own.
And what's stopping them from doing that?
Growing their own rice.
And what's stopping them from doing that?
The same thing that you have here. You have bad politics. Now over there, they have a different kind of control. Here in the United States, you can get rid of Danny Davis anytime you get ready. You heard what he said when I asked him his concerns about the southern border. What was his reply on your show that day? There's room for everything.
And there is.
Well, go down to where.
Well, let's just digress, okay? Let's talk about why Ghana cannot develop their economy.
Yes, so and that's the question. What is keeping Ghana from developing? Nothing. Nothing's keeping anybody except themselves. People have to take responsibility for their choices and not blame other people. Let me take a few more calls. We've got area code 773-483. Thank you for joining us. Give us your name, where you're calling from, and your comments.
Yeah. Real quick, this is Kofi.
Thank you for calling, Kofi.
Summer program. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I'm sorry, I don't know where that's going. I'm sorry. Say that again.
This is my idea. If the white man trying to do that, we are being indoctrinated as we speak. Africa fights at schools every day. People get shot in these schools every other day. Guys just came and shot little teenagers 15 times in school. These schools are penitentiaries, and they're indoctrinating our people. And I've been saying 30 years. People are finally getting it. You ain't no African. We didn't come from Africa, okay? Now, when you understand you are the indigenous people of America, guess what you do? You start doing for yourself. You start doing for your people. You start growing your food. Okay? I'm the example here.
Okay.
Back to you.
So
the slave ship is a cartoon picture, and if you are intelligent, you should understand that. You being dummied down by telling you they brought y'all from Africa and all y'all intelligent people with degrees and all that. You all are stupid to even think about entertaining that lie.
Oh, so Kofi, before I take the next caller, a quick question. The people of Ghana and Bianchi brought out that the Africans who are in China who are exporting Chinese-made products are creating poverty for the people of Africa, while they personally get wealthy because they're not encouraging the people of Africa to develop their own products. Now, these are not people who were enslaved. They're on their own ground. The Ghanaians, the Nigerians, all the people who are there who have the ability to create products to export. But Bianchi's making the point that the business people who have immigrated to China and are selling Chinese products back to Africa are you know. So what do you think about that?
It's creating consumerism.
But whose choice is it?
Nothing wrong with some of that. You look at Russia. Look at what Russia did. They gave grain to Bonaparte when Bonaparte could create their own grain. You understand? These countries wanna take advantage of the wealth of Africa. I don't blame them. But if Africa accepts that, they're gonna be spoon-fed. From consumers, it depends on somebody else to feed them, house them, clothe them, and everything. So in the end result, it's gonna make you a what? A slave.
If you choose, but it's free will. My point is, nobody's keeping anybody from developing products except themselves.
Take African products, sell them in China. Now, if you do that, it's easy. It's cool.
Okay, all right. Well, good point. Good point. Well, let me open up another mic.
You can bring your products here, and I can bring my products there.
That's free trade.
That's why y'all let me talk too long, because I make a lot of sense.
Oh well, I agree. I agree. Free trade, free will. Nobody forces anybody to buy anything, so you can't really blame anybody if they come up with a product and other people buy it and they make it more affordable than what's on the market. You can't blame anybody for doing that.
You wait for somebody else to create a product. That's the problem. I'm creating my own. We create your own product.
Well, all right. Well, thank you so much, Koopy. Well, thank you for your contribution to this conversation.
Do not lead our people down that rabbit hole, because it's on your hands, Naimah. Don't do that.
I'm making people be responsible for their choices and stop blaming other people. Be responsible for your choices. Don't blame other people.
Don't buy into it. I'm pushing it. Don't buy into it. Make sure that we are creating as well.
Okay. I agree. All right. Well, thank you for your contribution to this conversation. Let me take one more caller. 312-632. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. We got. Okay. Yeah, you got. Let me see. I'm gonna have to close one of your lines.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Okay. Now we can hear you. Uh oh.
A litany of schools here in Chicago. I didn't catch your first one. The second one was Barbara Sizemore or Betty Shabazz.
Yeah, we were just at Betty Shabazz yesterday.
Temple of America School.
I wasn't aware of their having a school. I know I've been to Barbara Sizemore, taught at both Barbara Sizemore and Betty Shabazz. Excellent schools.
I'm talking to Bianchi.
I think his call dropped. Yeah, I think his call dropped. But those were the schools that he mentioned. Yeah, his call dropped, or he had to leave, one of the two. But those were the schools that he mentioned, and of course you've been to Betty Shabazz because that's where we had the book fair. So what was
the third one aside from Barbara Sizemore you mentioned?
I don't remember the third one that he mentioned. I'd have to go back and listen to the show.
The first one that he mentioned, I didn't catch the name of it.
It might have been Betty Shabazz, and it was Barbara Sizemore. And I don't remember the third one.
A lot that we can talk about. My warm greetings to Sister Zoe Ma.
Yeah, Zoe Ma.
Zoe Ma, right?
Yes.
It's, the tone that Bianchi had questioning her about her American citizenship. I didn't like Bianchi's tone.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't very nice either. That's true. That applies.
I challenge Bianchi to confront a military-age man who just got here if he's an American citizen. Come to Chicago and confront a migrant who is a military-age man. Mm-hmm. Are you an American citizen, sir? Mm-hmm. And give his responses.
Well, now that's a good point.
Now connect. The other day, there was this man who looked like a military-age man that I thought was a newcomer north of or south of Rio Grande, and his tone was American. And
he was not someone that you're going to take a lunch money from, okay?
Yeah.
He looked like he just got here. He looked like, but you never really knew his personality until he speaks back to you if you can initial conversation with him.
Absolutely. We agree. We agree.
Weeks ago.
Yes. Well, I think that a lot of times people will throw that idea of citizenship at somebody as if that doesn't validate what they're saying. We're going to see if we can squeeze in one more call. Thank you so much, Brother Nelson. We appreciate you, Admiral Andrew Nelson Pay. We appreciate you so much. I believe we've got Minister Plump on the line. Got a minute before we go right ahead with your comment regarding. We're going to be at the auto show today. People follow us on the on-air radio TV network. We're going to be at the auto show today, live, showing you some of the new cars, and we're going to continue to talk about what needs to be done to develop the auto industry here in America. Do we need to bring back auto shop in the schools? Do we want to be able to prepare our children to compete on the global market or to cooperate on the global market and produce something for the global market? That's our responsibility. Nobody else's. We can't blame China if they're doing it and we're not. We just can't do that. Because if they're doing it, hey, they're going to.
I thought it was a very good idea. The Africans import parts from China and assemble in Kenya, and then they have to make it. Only a $5,000 for a car. I think would be a great idea for us bring parts here and we assemble here. Why can't we do that?
That could work as well. So, Minister Plum, you got a thought before we go? Got about 30 seconds before we wrap. Go right ahead.
Well, shalom, assalamu alaikum. Yes, we can. God bless your child, got his own. We can import and export all over the world. It is our time now as a people. For updates, everybody go to Robert Plump's Facebook page. And yes, we do need, auto shops in America. And especially because information is the key to success, and to study and to be educated is the best of the best. Okay, all right, we win. God and the people. And it's our time now. And happy Savior's Day.
All right, yeah. Looking forward to that. Absolutely. Might see if I can get there this year. Thank you so much, Minister Plump. We appreciate you. Yes, it is. And thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you so very much. And we're going to be about to depart for the auto show. Got a couple of comments here. Viana says, Brian Vickers, truth is Trump is the wartime president today, per my military context. Have you noticed how much protection is around him? Biden is an actor filling in till time comes to transition back to a republic. That's a thought. So that was it. That was her response to your question. And Brian says a lot of children are warehoused in special education, which that is true. And Viata says, why or how has China been able to develop speed trains and America has not? Great question. And Viata says Trump is a malignant narcissist. But one thing I have to say, we can't blame Trump, because if we elected somebody like that, that's a reflection of our values. And she says he has no business governing this country. And also Viata says the ideology of Israel Zionist evil psychopaths are greedy for land and control, and they have paid off government employees to work with their evil plan. Time for a revolution. Clean up Washington and start over. Well, she says Ghana has a lot of corruption in politics like America. And when it comes down to it, and thank you, Viata, for your contributions to this conversation, the reality is everybody is responsible for their own creations, their own actions. We can't blame anybody. The formula for success is cooperation. What do we always say? Share. We can eliminate poverty, crime, and violence if we all choose to share. That means sharing technology, sharing knowledge, sharing resources. We don't have to compete. We don't have to be angry. We don't have to be jealous. We don't have to be resentful of another country that excels. All we have to do is share. And when we create that kind of world, everybody benefits. That's the lesson that we should learn from the mess we've made of the world as it is, so that we can choose to create a better world in the future. So, Zoe, we're about to go. Last minutes before we go, last words of advice for those who are wondering how we can create a better American economy.
I think we can, rebuild some of our manufacturer base. Is bring the parts. Right now, many parts are shipping to Mexico. We can bring the parts to United States and we can assemble them. We use then we can have people have a better job and affordable product.
Absolutely. Yes, we can. Well, all right, people. We will see you next time. Thank you so much, Zoe, for giving us some real insight. And we're looking forward to bringing a group of children to China and expanding their horizons.
The world,
and
not just China,
not just China. We want to take them to Asia, Africa, Europe, everywhere, because the world of the future is one world. We are not divided countries. Mother Earth does not see herself as divided countries. Mother Earth is one home for all of us. And when we understand that, then we'll create economies that support that thought. So that's what we're instilling in our children, so they can create that world of the future where we're not fighting each other. We are sharing.
We share.
Yes, we share. Well, thank you all so much. And we will see you all again tomorrow for health and well-being with Diana, right here on the Female Solution. To the end of our show today. But you join me later this afternoon, later today at the Auto Show on the On Air Network. And you can also hear today show you some of today's news.
Have a good day, everyone.
Great day, everybody.
You can always reach me on my website at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Watch our TV shows, listen to our radio shows, order our books, and be sure to get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussion. And to our global family listening from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, Sheshe, India, Zambia, Japan, Arigato, Korea, Kamsahamnida, Russia, Spasiba, Germany, Danke, Poland, Dziękuję, France, Merci, Spain, Gracias, Italy, Grazie, Egypt, Shukran, Ghana, Madasi, Nigeria, Eshe, South Africa, Nyabonga, Senegal, Jerez, Kenya, Asante, Israel, Toda, Pakistan, Shukriya, Afghanistan, Tashakor, Saudi Arabia, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you. And may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessing.